Good morning and welcome to Candid Conversations with the MICRC. And we have 4 commissioners. That's right, 4 commissioners who are willing to take your questions as they talk about proposed maps or any other conversation that you would like to have with these distinguished panel. I am so excited. I'm so excited. We're going to talk about the medical student who hails from Wayne County. I should say Wayne County, but by the way of Wayne State University. We call him Doctor in advance, but he's smart, intelligent, and brilliant. Please welcome Dr. Anthony Eid. Welcome to the broadcast. All the way from Rochester Hills, a retired guru in his own right, but never afraid to speak truth to power and to make sure the process is followed. Let's give a warm welcome to Doug Clark. And yes, it's nothing like having someone who knows the wizardry of math, a genius, someone that can just move the lines and understand what is taking place. He's not a witch, but he's a witches. Welcome to Dustin Witjes. And last but not least, the chairperson, the person from Wayne County, the one who draws the most maps and is not afraid to speak her mind and make sure everyone's included and a part of the process. You better be careful, because if your argument doesn't stand up, it won't meet the Szetela standard. Without further ado, let's welcome Commissioner Rebecca Szetela. It's good to have each and every one of you here today. We're going to talk about draft proposed maps. And of course, people want to talk a little bit about the AG opinion, but I'm just so excited. We have maps. We have maps that people can actually look at on the website and can comment on those maps. Can you talk to us a little bit about the collaborative process and how you felt that went in terms of the maps that are currently out there for Michigan Congressional, Michigan State House, and Michigan State Senate? Just tell us how you feel about those maps.
So I can go first. So I think the process worked well. I think we, started out with an area. We started out with those regions to work with and started drafting there. And I think as a group, we sort of collectively talked through the comments that we had received at the public hearing and then over the internet, and then started drawing lines. And based on the feedback from the group, we moved some things around and repositioned things. And we did that for the entire state of Michigan for all the multiple maps that we have. We worked together as a team and, agreed on where we were drawing lines, and we're able to come up with a series of what I think are very high quality maps.
Thank you. Jump on in.
Okay, I'll go next. I think the process worked very well. I think we got input from all 13 of the commissioners, which is great, because then we get the diversity of opinions as we go through it. The tools that we used, I think, were very helpful as well. In the discussions that we have overlays where we can identify where pockets of Asian Americans are and pockets of Hispanics are and pockets where African Americans are, and that helps a lot. And we also integrated the comments that came in on the web tool, and we can go into a district and click on the little circles that have the comments, and that helped guide us on what the public thought at that point in time.
It really was a little bit of a learning experience. I think the process had its ups and its downs, but, we're the first group of regular everyday citizens that are going through this process. And we were kind of learning on the fly as we were doing it. So, to me, knowing that, it's even more impressive that we came up with the product that we did, knowing that we're the first group of commissioners to undertake this task.
The one thing that I liked most about the process is that everyone was able to bring their own ideas to the table, and we weren't scared to divert from what it is that we were doing, to take someone's comments into account, or someone's ideas or commissioner's ideas into account, and get a new springboard that we could continue to work on, which is how we got to all of the plans that were named after trees. So that was always fun to see. If someone said, I don't really like the way that this is going, I'll just wait until it gets to me. I'll say, hey, can we make a clone and go do XYZ somewhere else? And then we can continue either working off of this plan or the next or the previous, and come to a finished, polished product that took everyone's ideas and thoughts into account.
Yeah, I believe that the dialogue between the commissioners when we were doing the mapping was really good. We got a lot of different opinions, diversity of opinions, and we had good discussions on things that we all saw a little differently. And I think those constructive discussions really helped us develop the maps that we have today.
Oh, this whole process was speaking about openness and transparency and how much of it's going to make a difference. How do you go about trying to make everyone happy? Is that an ideal or is that a reality?
Well, I think we started out the process with the recognition that it would be difficult to make everyone happy. And I think we approached it with the viewpoint of we would try to accommodate as many requests as we could, and also recognize that, maybe we can't make everybody happy on every map, but maybe we can make, if we can't accommodate something that someone is requesting on one map, maybe we can do it on a different map. So I think we've sort of moved through the process with flexibility, trying to balance all the different competing needs and requests that we've heard. And then, where maybe we had conflicting interests, we either created an alternative map, or maybe we couldn't address what they had on a House map, but maybe we could on maybe a Senate map or a congressional map. And so we've had that flexibility throughout the entire process to try to accommodate as many interests as we can, as feasible through the process.
Commissioner Eid, you talk a lot about public engagement and listening to people. Are you proud of the engagement efforts that have taken place in developing these maps?
Oh, it's definitely something I'm proud of. I think we've gone actually above and beyond what our Constitution mandates. During our first round of public hearings, it was required that we hold 10. We ended up holding, I believe, 16. And then during our second round, we held the 5. But even between those two rounds of public comment, we have hours of comments before each and every one of our commission meetings. And I believe we have over 10,000 different unique comments on our public comment tool. So as Commissioner Szetela said, it's hard to accommodate every voice, but we've done our best to accommodate as many people as possible. And something I always say is, if we can't make everybody happy, well then can we make everybody equally unhappy? Because then at least, we kind of did a fair job.
Yeah, and I think we did an excellent job working with the public. We got a lot of good input, both at the hearings and on the public website. And in addition, between our first round of hearings and our second round of hearings, we also had meetings at 5 of the universities throughout the state, which we were able to get some input from them. And that gave us the opportunity to go to some of the smaller or mid-sized towns, such as Big Rapids and Mount Pleasant and so forth. And I think we got a good range of opinions throughout the whole process.
Commissioner Witjes.
I would agree with what everyone said. We got a lot of comments. We listened to everybody. We tried to accommodate everybody as best as we could. One particular area that was hard for me, and I think everybody else, was the how to work with the city in the area of Midland and the Tri-Cities. So we kind of came up with consensus, like Rebecca was saying, well, not consensus, with different ways to handle that particular area by saying, okay, well, one map will do this, and one map will do this, and one map will do this. So everyone gets a piece of what it is that they were looking for, but no one gets everything that they were looking for.
Well, All right. And so now we're in the process of the 45-day public comment period. So far, the commission has hosted one meeting. Um, what's why is this 45-day public comment period so important? Not just because it's in the Constitution, but as relates to public engagement. Why is this so important?
Well, I think as the public has seen, for each type of map, so congressional, state house, and state senate, we have multiple alternatives. We have three collaborative maps, and then we also have some individual maps. And this really provides the public with an opportunity to sort of provide the outgoing feedback on those maps and help guide us in terms of which maps we should adopt and which maps we shouldn't adopt. And I think so far, what I'm seeing on the portal, I read it daily, is that we've received, I believe, over 1,000 comments per map type so far, just in the, I think it's been 10 days that they've been out there. So we are receiving a lot of robust public comment, and it's very helpful to read that. And it for me, certainly informs what maps I am inclined to vote for at the end of this 45-day process.
One thing that I'll add on is in the public comments, there's still a lot of individuals that are saying, make changes here, make changes there. But one thing that what I want the public to know is that we're done with the changes at this particular point in time. Right now, what we want to hear from the public is, which of these maps do you like best? So that we can actually hear what it is that you have to say, which ones that you like, which ones should be adopted. Ones that are comments that are coming forward saying change this won't really work anymore, unless something happens way in the future. But that is what I'm looking for, and that's a lot of comments are indeed saying we like this map, and this map. So that's what I'm taking from the public engagement for this 45-day period.
And then to add on what Dustin just talked about, if we happen to make changes to a map, then we've got to repost it and wait another 45 days so the public can comment on those changes. And that may be unmanageable given the time frame we've had and the delays we had getting the census data and so forth. But we think we have the collaborative maps that we have out there are quality products based on our inputs from the public and based on the analysis that we've done as a group.
Commissioner Eid, did you want to provide a comment?
I think my fellow commissioners said it very well. This is the time to tell us which of the maps you prefer. We have 9 collaborative maps, 3 for the House, 3 for the State Senate, and 3 for U.S. Congress. We also have a few individual commissioner maps as well in the fray. So now's the time to take a look at all of them. They have many similarities, but also a few major differences. So I would ask the public to really pay attention to the differences between the maps and let us know, which version you like best.
All right. We also have some individual maps, and I know each of you have had experience in terms of drawing maps. What was the impetus or the reason for why you have drawn maps in the past? And if you did submit an individual map, why did you? And if you didn't submit an individual map, share why you didn't, because all of you have experience drawing maps, talking about maps, and bringing them to the commission for consideration. Let's start with Commissioner Clark on this one.
Okay. Thank you, Edward. I have done individual maps at home to test different theories and different ideas that I've had. And that worked out very good. It gave me an idea of what the analytics would be as far as the numerics and the statistics that we get out of the maps. So I think that worked very well. I did not submit a public map or an individual map for this 45-day period. I felt comfortable, very comfortable, as a matter of fact, with the collaborative maps that we have. And I personally would like to see us move forward with one of those, but we're still going to take the individual ones into consideration.
Commissioner Witches.
So I used the mapping software like Doug did. I used it to test things, whether it was at home outside of a meeting or when we were collaboratively drawing. If I said, okay, well, while we're doing this, let me click here real fast to see if this would be feasible for when it gets to my turn, or if I can potentially help make suggestions. I tried doing it at home to try and just do some testing, but I also am a firm believer of the collaborative map, so I elected not to submit a individual map. I feel that we've made quality work, and I feel that one of the collaborative maps, whichever of the three for each plan type are, should be the one that should be the one that is selected as the final product of the commission.
Thank you. Commissioner Szetela.
Yeah, so I would just echo what Commissioner Clark and Commissioner Witjes said in terms of using the software, drawing individual maps. I think the process in general of mapping moved smoother when we had commissioners who were working with the maps ahead of time and familiar with the areas and familiar with what sort of challenges there are in the areas, so that when it came to our turn for mapping, we could actually have a district already prepared in our mind, or easily draw a district based on what had been drawn in the prior turns before us. So I think it was very helpful from that perspective. In terms of this latest round, I did submit individual maps for each type of district. And what I was attempting to do with that is propose alternatives to the collaborative maps that combined things. So for example, for our congressional maps, we have the birch and the chestnut, and we had received quite a bit of public comment asking us to combine those maps with the West Coast version of the chestnut with the East Coast version of the birch. And that's exactly what I did for my individual map. I incorporated the parts of the chestnut around Muskegon and Grand Rapids onto a birch map, and then made that an individual map. And the entire purpose in doing that is just to provide an alternative that the public was asking for, that if we decide as a commission we actually like that configuration better, then we would have the ability to possibly vote on it if we wanted to.
All right. So it's about giving the public possibility. Obviously, the preference is for the public to join or to identify one of the maps that they do like, but they're also able to change. And I know that during the 45-day public comment period, that might be a hard sell, but they still do have that right. And I know you guys are looking at those comments. And if something substantial happens, I just want to make sure I'm hearing this correctly. You guys can say yes or no. That if something substantial changes, like a new map is done, we would have to start the 45-day public comment period all over again. Is that correct?
Yes.
But someone would have to really provide a compelling case in terms of submitting that map. Is that correct as well?
Yes.
That's my understanding.
I'm seeing these nods. I want to hear from.
Yeah,
All right. Let's see if.
I think it would be a difficult thing to do. What I think some people don't recognize is there's a lot of downstream work that has to take place outside the commission. There's a database that's got to get updated for all the people. The clerks throughout the state have got to redesign the precincts. They've got to assign the people to the precincts. The candidates have to apply based on the districts. And then they've got to also go out and campaign on those districts as well. So, and time is short to do all that.
But that's why it has to be a compelling case. So we still want to invite those that have a compelling case to submit, because guess what? That's what the 45-day public comment period is about. Obviously, yesterday there was an opinion of the AG that the commission is going to discuss on December 2nd at its regular meeting that will take place in Lansing starting at 10 o'clock a.m. And, we just basically taken the high road that we respect the opinion, and it will be debated in an open and transparent way on December 2nd. Can you explain to the public why there's just not an automatic just release everything without a public discussion by the commission?
Well, when we act as a commission, and I certainly, having read Attorney General Nessel's opinion, I appreciate her opinion, and I'm sure the rest of my commissioners feel the same, and that we will follow the same process we have always followed, which is when we receive information, we review it, and then we, at a meeting, discuss it, and then we make determinations as to how to react based on those open and transparent discussions that we have. And I have no doubt that this will follow the same process, that everyone will review that memo. We will discuss it in an open meeting, and then together, collectively as a body, we will make a decision about the path forward. But none of us as individual commissioners have the ability to direct our general counsel or anyone else who's in the staff to just go ahead and release it based on the Attorney General's opinion. We work as a commission, and we have to make those decisions as a commission, which requires us to make those decisions at an open meeting.
And I agree with Rebecca. The commission has always operated in that process. We've always, when we come up against issues, we've always taken the time to go back and review what the facts are and what the circumstances were, and then, not individually, but as a group, come together, discuss it, and try to resolve it at that point.
Yeah, and I think at our last meeting, the public heard that we were kind of already thinking about going down this road. So, now we have another opinion from the Attorney General, and we're going to be taking that into consideration and, voting one way or another at our next meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Witjes?
Oh, I've got my own thoughts on the AG opinion, but you'll have to wait until the second to hear that.
Is that a teaser, Commissioner Witjes? That's not a mathematical formula, sir?
Yeah.
Is that a teaser?
No, it will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first from Commissioner Witjes. Come to the meeting on December 2nd and hear his unadulterated opinion of what needs to happen. Once again, we want to thank Commissioner Clark, Commissioner Eid, Commissioner Witjes, and Commissioner Szetela for joining us for another edition of Candid Conversations. I want each and every one of you to have a happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Eat lots of turkey, but more importantly, enjoy the fellowship with those you love and those that love you. On behalf of the MICRC, we look forward to catching up with you next week, not just for our commission meeting, but another edition of Candid Conversations. Can everyone say Happy Thanksgiving?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.